Video, we're going to talk about the AMC Anywhere assessment data and what that data means. So we're going to begin by looking at this continuum of instructional levels. So if you notice, the A at the far left stands for apply. Okay, and those are students who think that this particular task is very easy, they can do it independently. So that A stands for apply. Okay. Below the A is the P, and that P stands for needing practice. Okay, so those are things that the child needs practice in. Next to that P is the I, and that stands for instruction. They need some instruction in that area. Notice above the P and the I, you'll see that brace showing that that is their zone of proximal development. So as teachers, that is our just right zone. That's telling us what we need to focus on with the child, because just a little bit of focus in that area means that they can be successful at those tasks and move on to be ready to apply them independently. So when we're doing these AMC assessments, we are looking for the P's and the I's, because those guide us as teachers into the things that are developmentally appropriate for that child at this time. At the other end of the spectrum is the N, and N stands for needs the prerequisite. And so that means those particular tasks are too hard for the child. They're unable to do that regardless of the amount of support provided. The neat thing about this assessment is, let's say we're giving the changing number assessment and the child earned all N's. Well, the assessment is actually going to tell us to go down and do the counting assessment with the child, because undoubtedly that changing number is too difficult for them and they need an earlier skill, which would be counting. So here's another way of looking at it. We started out with the A's, and that means they're ready to apply. That means they can do it, no problem, piece of cake. Those are the type of activities that I often put in my math centers. Now remember though, my A might be different from my friend's A. In other words, I might be able to apply counting objects to 10, but my friend might only be able to apply counting objects to 5. So when you're building those centers, you need to make sure that you have what is appropriate for each child and what they can apply on their own. The P stands for needs practice. I can do it, but it's not easy yet. So I could use some guided practice maybe with my teacher, or to work with a peer as we practice together. That I stands for needs instruction. That means that I need some additional instruction on that task. That's something that my teacher could give me, that instruction, and that's where we want to spend our time during our assessment, after our assessments when we're teaching our small group lessons. Remember, that N means I need a prerequisite. That means it is too hard for me right now. I can't do it. I need to do whatever comes before that. So typically that means we need to assess them on a lower assessment to find that spot. We're going to take a second and look actually at the AMC software. So I'm going to click on, I'm going to go to the home screen. And from the home screen, I want to go over to resources. So for each of these assessments under resources, you're going to find a document called Linking Assessment to Instruction. This document is going to help you understand that data even more as well. So I'm going to go here to Changing Number and click on the Linking Assessment to Instruction. It's going to pull up a PDF file that's going to give me first a brief description of what this is. And then it's going to say, so if the child is at an N for needs prerequisite, this is what it means. It says, at this stage, children do not see that one number is contained within the other. So basically it tells me this is what they need, what this data does tell me about them. Notice that it sends you down to working on activities for counting. Now this is listing activities in one of Kathy Richardson's 3 books, and I actually have shared with you some of those resources and will continue to share them with you as we go through the course. So many of these activities you'll be able to find. Notice as I go down to the I for needs instruction, it explains that stage to me, where that child is at in that critical learning phase, and then it gives me some ideas of some activities I can do. Now notice it talks about to 6 and to 10. Remember, those are the number ranges. So it might be that the child needs instruction to 10, but that they're ready to apply to 6. Okay, so you have to be careful as to where that I is. So if they needed instruction to 10, that means when I'm doing those activities, I want to work around the number 10, because that is the number in which they need additional instruction. So this document goes right through those levels. This is the P's and the P minuses and the P pluses, and it describes the child at each of those stages. And then it goes on to break it down in an easier way, and it talks about the A's, which basically means that that child is ready to apply that skill and practice that skill independently. I hope this has helped you better understand the data that you get from AMC Anywhere.